A report just came out that confirms that Donald Trump is set to make his most absurd and vile pardon yet. And the White House has responded to it. And the Red House has responded to it. And then the person who made the report pushed back. I've got all of that for you. And Donald Trump is not stopping there, because here is what Donald Trump has done to the White House. This is the East Wing. Now, that was Donald Trump demolishing the White House to make way for his ballroom. So not only Donald Trump pardoning the worst criminals around, and I'm going to tell you what I think this all means and what this is headed towards, he's also destroying the thing that represents our country. Actually, it's kind of poetic if you think about it, that Donald Trump is tearing down a symbol of our democracy, and I think one of the great symbols of democracies across the world. I love the White House because there's a humility behind it. It could be a huge palace, but it's not. It's a small white building where big things happen. It is small. That's like anyone else or anything else. It doesn't need to show off because it was confident in the things that happened there. That's why authoritarians so often have large palaces in order to make themselves feel bigger than the things that they actually do. And I just want to say too, before we get to the main story, is that Donald Trump said, of course he lied, but he said when building the announcement of the ballroom, he said it won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it. And it pays total respect to the existing building, which he's the biggest fan of. That was a lie. That was a lie. Now, Donald Trump is set, according to TMZ, set to pardon Diddy. Here's info on that. Donald Trump is considering commuting Diddy's sentence as early as this week, according to a high-ranking White House official. According to our source, the president is vacillating on a commutation. We're told some of the White House staff are urging Trump not to commute the sentence, but their source states the obvious, that Trump will do what he wants. And they're told that Diddy could be as free as early this week. God. Diddy is serving a 50-month sentence for violating the Mann Act. He's served 13 months. And with credit, he could get out in around 2 years, but none of that matters if Trump commutes his sentence. And we know that Trump is willing to do that shit because he commuted the sentence of George Santos. Now, I have the White House's response to this story. There's also more stories in the news. Donald Trump pardoned, of course, to generate 6 criminals. And that has led, Donald Trump is the biggest pro-crime president in American history. This is a further proof point because Donald Trump is now pardoning criminals, and criminals are doing what they do best, committing more crimes and causing more violence. And here is some information about this, because a New York man who received a pardon from President Donald Trump for his role on January 6th has been charged with threatening to kill House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. Christopher Minahan, 34, of Clinton, is charged with making a terrorist threat against Jeffries. New York State Police said he was being held in lieu of a $10,000 cash bail. Moynihan, in August 2022, pled guilty to 5 misdemeanor counts and was convicted at a stipulated trial of 1 felony count in connection with his role in the Capitol riot by a mob of Trump supporters. He was sentenced on February 2023 to 21 months in prison and surrendered the following month. He was released after serving 12 months while he appealed his conviction, the felony count. Moynihan was one of the 1,500 charged with 6 related crimes who was pardoned by Trump on his first day. Back in the White House on January 20th, 2025, his arrested for allegedly threatening Jeffries was first reported by CBS. Jeffries said this: "I am grateful to state and federal law enforcement for their swift and decisive action to apprehend a dangerous individual who made a credible death threat against me with every intention to carry it out." So Donald Trump is totally willing and able to do these commutations. We saw with George Santos, saw it January 6th. So here's where I think this is all heading. I mean, obviously, Donald Trump is pardoning awful people. George Santos, likely Diddy. He pardoned the January 6 prisoners, and that has made us all unsafe. The fact that these criminals are out there able to cause more violence, commit more crimes. And I do think this is all, to me, it's like how the troops are on the street in D.C., in Portland. They're heading to Chicago. The reason why he's doing that is because he wants us to get used to it. It's the same thing with the pardons. He wants us to get used to the fact that the president just pardons people who are obviously guilty, who plead to the crimes that they're committed. George Santos pleaded to all that shit. And by the way, George Santos is actually not going to pay restitution because he says unless the law makes him, he's not going to do it. That's how great George Santos is. But where's this all heading? Trump's going to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. That's where this is heading. We all know why, because Donald Trump is implicated in the Epstein files. He's in there. He's obviously committed some of the worst crimes imaginable against children. And the only person alive right now that we know of who can prove it is Ghislaine. So he sent her to a prison where she has minimal security that's called a camp. And she is being obviously shown through these other pardons, through Santos and soon Diddy, that if she just keeps her mouth shut, it's going to be coming to her soon enough. Now, is it going to be tomorrow? Is it going to be next week? I don't know. Polymarket here says that there's about a 20% chance that she will be pardoned by the end of 2026. I think that's much higher, actually. I think it's definitely going to happen. And this is clearly all heading in one direction. And that's with Ghislaine Maxwell walking free in order to stay silent. Now, I want to switch gears because let's end with something positive, baby. James Talarico is out here actually doing good work, campaigning, could potentially flip Texas blue. Here is one message he had about prices in Texas. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Tariffs are ruining everything, including one of the best things in Texas. I'm here at the Texas State Fair. Thousands of families come here every year for the food, the rides, the livestock show, and of course, big techs. Life shouldn't just be about scraping by with bills and groceries. The State Fair is one of those things that makes life worth living. But this year feels different. Thanks to tariffs, everything costs more, a lot more. These deep-fried Oreos cost $14. They used to cost $6. This funnel cake chicken sandwich used to be $9, now it's $15. These fried alligator bites are $23. The Big Tex turkey leg is $25. Tariffs drive up the price of ingredients, so if small businesses like these vendors want to stay in business, they have to pass that cost along to us. I don't blame the State Fair. I blame the DC politicians who are pushing tariffs and raising the cost of everything. So when you walk into the voting booth next November, remember this $25 turkey leg.